I think my approach and the things that I have, and I know different things that I end up using, is just to find more and more ways to connect with the students, to get them up, or it's for me to feel connected to them, vice versa. Especially today, how we're doing virtual and traditional. So I do have a little bit of a setup here. I have got an extended kind of easel, and then we have this one from the district, and so I use both of them. And we were issued another Chromebook, and so it's another way for me to just monitor what's occurring online. I have these speakers here that I got from Amazon, and they're probably like, I think were $20. When the students are talking virtually, if I amplify them, we all can hear them in the classroom clearly, easily. So if I do anything where I ask someone to read something and they're reading virtually, I plug them in so that we can all hear them. And that's been a big boom. So we all feel like we're talking to each other. And I have a tendency to bring students from their desk if they have, and come here and speak to the students so they can see each other talking that way and engaging. I do keep our timer nearby so I can keep the time, what's going on. And it's helpful for me just to keep things flowing correctly. So I use that here. But I have another camera. And so sometimes I use that one because it's much more of a wide angle. And so when I move around the classroom a little bit, it catches me moving and the students can see it, or they'll see something that I have here. And every now and then I like to use that too so that they feel that they can see what's in the classroom and feel that kind of connection, that it's their classroom. I really try, and as part of this, is that the multimedia aspect is strong, and just to keep it. So whenever I show videos and everything, I have this on so all of us traditional and virtual have as close to the same feeling as possible. And this standing, even if we were in a situation non-pandemic, I'm the type of teacher who's up and about, so I'm very this way. So this has been very helpful because it's certainly, you can adjust it, but it's at my level, and it keeps me up. And so then that way I still have that tendency with the classroom to have that engagement. So I will pop over this way, or I can walk around and still be back at the podium or hear them talking to me, and we can all address it that way. And I find that very helpful too. Okay, you guys, so listen. I will come around and do I'll come around and initial, but I want us to sit, we're gonna have to focus So let's go to our, I'm gonna ask a volunteer to read the agenda for us this morning or this afternoon. You know what, I'd like to have someone online first, okay? Ethan, would you be interested in reading the agenda? I can put it on my screen. Would you be interested in doing that, sir? If not, you can pass.
I'm sure.
You said you would, or you would pass?
I'll do it.
Okay, thank you, sir. I'm gonna share my screen right now, okay?
Okay.
All right. So you guys, listen, I have one thing I do want to share with you guys out loud. Sometimes teachers like myself, when you're in, you're recorded, and the recording, obviously we're always recorded, but it really helps to inform my teaching. So I do want to know that, we will be recorded, as known, but like this way, outside, okay? It doesn't matter because we're always you guys are yourselves all the time, but I just wanted to say that, okay? Okay, go ahead, Ethan. So all of us are on our Schoology page. We're all seeing this at once. Okay, go ahead.
Where do I start?
Okay. You don't see it?
Okay. I mean, like, where do I start?
I want you to start with the bell ringer.
Okay, and then where do I start?
I want you to stop after the exit ticket.
Okay. Bell ringer. It will take 5 to 7 minutes. Review ELA SA1. ELA semester assessment. The announcements are Mr. Boaitey's office hours are Wednesday, 7:30 through 8:30 on Google Meet. All past due assignments due Friday, December 11th, 20th at 11:59 p.m. ELA SA 1 due Sunday, December 13th at 11:59 p.m. Parent student teacher conferences will be on Wednesdays, December 2nd and December 9th. Special focus on students with grades of D's or F's. The activity for today is review and prepare for a D CFA 3. The focus point of view and transition words and phrases. The exit ticket is, how do you feel about DSA D DCFA 3? Ready, will be ready, or not ready.
Thank you so much, Ethan. Thank you so much. So we
That's
all
the
were reading along with him. We all heard this at the same time. I want to back and go over a few things just to make sure that we're all clear. Okay? Okay. So I'm still on the screen and I am sharing my screen with you guys. Okay? So with the bell ringer, what I asked you guys to do is take a look at this red folder, ELASA 2020, 2021. Okay? So let's take a look at that. So on Saturday, I had like an informational meeting with all of, with parents and so forth to talk about this. And so it's here for you to see on your own. And I was just taking a look at that. And on this page is where we have, it's the ELA semester assessment. So it's kind of like our final, okay? And so if you click it, so right now I'm doing it on the screen, so we all should be seeing what I'm seeing. This is the assessments in our normal assignment, how we have normal assignments, and it will look like this. So this is the pre-AP one, and it's going to be a hyperdoc. So if you look at it, everything is contained in this document, okay? And so it's broken up in sections. You'll have to complete each section. And as you do each section, you have to make sure, sometimes we don't like answer all the questions or we don't follow the directions the way that they're meant to be. And so we really are going to have to do that this time, okay? And so that's how this will be graded for. And there'll be a rubric so you can see exactly how everything is, okay? Okay. I just want to share a couple of these first before we go into what we're doing. So the first part of this is annotating of text. You guys are going to have paired text, and that means you'll have two texts that you're going to have to read. They're not long, but you'll have two that you're reading together, and you need to annotate that. And if you remember, the annotation that we're using is the Avid annotation, right? And you remember when we did the flipped classroom, we started it, I put that in there for you as a reference. So as you guys are doing this, everything that you need is in our Schoology page, okay? You can use that as a reference, dictionaries. It's just your own work is what it has to be. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. Say that again, ma'am. Okay, hold on a second. I might adjust it. I'll check it out. Yeah, someone said that to me earlier. Okay, so that's the first half. The second half is these questions. And you guys have to answer them in the ACE format. If you don't remember what ACE is, I know we all do, but if you don't remember what ACE is, all you have to do is go to writing resources, look at the little PowerPoint, or just refresh your mind. You're restating the question, you're citing evidence, and then you're doing a commentary, okay? Okay. Trying to set out what are we using this for? Like, are we writing something? I'm going through it right now. Yeah. And so the first part of this, Jonathan, just so you can see, was you have two texts that you're gonna read and you're annotating it. And then you have some questions. It's about 6 to 8, maybe 9 questions of the text individually and comparing the text together. Okay. And so then as you do that, that's one criteria that's met. And then you're gonna copy and paste the link right here. Do you see where it says that? It says copy and paste the link right here for the annotated and copy and paste the link for the questions right here. Do you see that? Okay. So that's the first part. The second part is the USA test prep. We all know how to do that. We all know what that's about. I think you might have maybe 17 questions, maybe. They cover standards 7.1 through 7.6. This whole thing covers that. However, the difference this time is you can do it, take your time and do it. You can look up a word to make sure you understand what the word is saying. Okay? So that's what this is. After you've done that, your narrative is here. See that it says reflect? So you guys are writing your narrative. You've already done the work, right? You have your 15 questions. Remember that? The pre-writing questions we guys worked on? Yes, that's what you're using. So you've already stepped there. You've already got there, okay? So now you're going to put it together. My suggestion is that you do not wait till the very end, like Saturday, and try to do all this. You won't make it. Okay, it won't. But if you do a little bit every day of it, you'll be fine. And you choose what you're going to work on. Choose. But if you do a little bit every day, you'll be okay. Okay, go ahead.
We write the question and write what was there from we just write we don't even show that we're using the question, start typing to say is what did they do make change or change of thought. So we put the question and then put your first put that parentheses and then start typing, or we just go this person did or I don't know.
I think I do, but let me hear George too. George, what was your question as well? Okay, all right. So I'm gonna do 1, 2. So Jonathan, you guys, what we're doing is we're actually writing our narrative now in this. Yeah. So what you're gonna do, what Jonathan was just saying, which is a great question. Jonathan was asking, so we have the pre-writing questions. What do we do next? So what you're gonna do is now, what I would do is go back to our pre-writing video. Remember we had that small group, we had that video? I would go back to that. And I had this thing of watching the 6 traits of writing. I would just refresh myself with that because you're writing it now. So you're gonna write it, answer the questions, and then use that to make a draft. And then once you do the draft, you're gonna go back and edit again, and then you have your final one. Does that make sense? So that's what we're doing, Jonathan. And you're gonna submit your final one right here. It says, right here, copy and paste the link right here. You see that? You see my cursor doing that? Yeah. And I want you to look at this reflective narrative rubric. You have to make sure that it's in keeping with what we're doing. Okay? Okay, so then the final thing, and so George, this is how you see it. This is the final thing is the apply. And that's gonna be a flip grid. You're gonna go in, you're gonna end up, thank you, sir. You're gonna end up recording, yourself speaking about a couple vocabulary words. So you're gonna say them, you're gonna say where you've seen them used, and then you're gonna use them in a sentence. That's it. And so the sections are 1, 2, 3, 4. I think you have 6 sections. Okay, George? And so that's it. And so if you do a little at a time, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Kendley, that's not good. Okay, does everyone make sense? Do we have any questions? Mm-hmm. Let's do Sunday night. Sunday night. It says on 11:59 p.m. Okay, so let's do Sunday. You'll also see that even though we're doing this, we still are doing regular assignments in class. So you'll start seeing, yes, ma'am, you'll start seeing things come through. And just be mindful of this. It is true that if you were failing the class and you did pass this, you would pass the class. And the reason why is because you'd be demonstrating your understanding of this material. You would demonstrate that you do everything that we've done this whole semester, you're clear. And because of that, it allows us to do that. However, if you're not, like you're not in a good space and your stuff is not in and you don't do well, the likelihood of you passing class is not good because this is so heavy on the grades. Does that make sense, everybody? So it is a wonderful opportunity, but to demonstrate your understanding, but also you need to get everything else that you had in. And I'm accepting that straight through Friday. So I know most of us are not doing that anymore, but I'm gonna let you turn it in by Friday. Does that help everybody? Okay. Any more questions? Because we're gonna move on. We good, everybody? Yes, sir.
How many points is this worth?
It is worth 100 points. Oh, you know what? Let me show you something. Because I didn't, you can't. Let me show you something. And Brandon, I'm glad you said that. Let me show you one thing. In the rubric section, if you click the rubric, this is a culminating rubric. And come here later on tonight or tomorrow, and you see a rubric for every single section. But if you look at this, look, 25%, Cami, Evan, annotation strategies. Do you see that, everybody? This grade applies to the annotation steps that the student has submitted on the Cami annotation section of the assessment. USA test prep, 20% of your grade. This grade applies to the achievement score on the questions that the student answered correctly. Narrative essay, 30% of your grade. Okay, the grade applies to the narrative essay steps that the student has submitted on the essay. And finally, the ACE questions. So the questions that you're answering from the paired text is in ACE format. That's 25%. That's how we broke this down. And you can see it right there. Okay, everybody? Okay.
To show that we have everything.
To show that you understand what you're doing. You're in school, Kimberly. You're in school. Okay, that's why you're doing it, because you're in school. Okay, so let's come on, let's move on. Yeah, it's in the red folder right here. See the red folder? So you guys can start on this today. Okay, but I would do a little at a time, because if you wait, it's going to be too much. And I don't want it to be damaging for you. All right, so let's go to this really quick. I haven't shared this with you guys, and I just realized that from last Friday. So I was like, let me do this. You guys, my screen is being shared, right? We all see this? Okay. This is big. This is some of the results from Friday. Okay. So this is 7th grade. That's what we're looking at right now. We're about to do the district. This is the in-school one. Okay, look at this. This is the school average for DCFA, for the CFA 3. It's not that good, is it? And this is all 7th grade, okay? So the average score was 32%. 32% of 100, what's the grade of that? That's like a boom, 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 right? Okay. So listen, so that's what that is. So let's talk about that a little. Let's just talk about it quickly, okay? We're not gonna sit here too long, but I thought it'd be good for you to see. Okay, so look at this. These are the questions that us 7th graders were wrestling with. We only have 5 questions. Question 1, question 3, and question 5 sometimes. Okay, let's look at what these are. Which statement best explains the effect of using third-person point of view in this passage? So we're still kind of wrestling with third, and I have a feeling I understand why with this one, but that's not the point, because we need to think through, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. The second one is, what pattern of writing structure does the author use to organize the paragraphs and express the main idea of the entire passage? Okay, so in this one, I think it was just more about reading clearly, closely and clearly. I don't think it's about you didn't know what structures are. I don't believe it, but we're going to talk about this. And then the other one, 5, is this. What would be the best transition to combine these 2 sentences into a cohesive idea? Transition words. Okay, let's look closely. This is 4th period. The school average is 32%. 4th period test average was 32%. Kenley, just wait a minute. We're going to get through all the classes, right? So just hold it together, Ken. All right, just a second. So just look, you guys. This is for 4th period is pretty much like the average. 1, 3, 5. Most of us, all of us got number 2 with no problem. And then we most of us came up with number 4 too, okay? This is 5th period. They have 33%. So the school average is 32. They're just 1 point higher, but it still shows you we're all in the same vein still, which is not great. Okay, it's not great, but it just shows that we're all here, okay? These are the questions. 1, 3, 5 here is a little higher for 5th period, but you see 2 is not an issue. And 4 still rises up a little higher. This is 6th period. We were the lowest. So we had 29%. And the school was 32.
We're the best. This is stopping scores, so the lowest pointer is the best. Okay.
Mr. Boaitey,
Yes, ma'am. Hold on one second. Go ahead.
I was absent Friday. How do I?
No, you're not going to do this, but you'll do tomorrow's for sure. Okay?
Okay.
We're going to talk about it. Okay, so you guys, even though we say this, what happens is everybody else is like, wow, we're higher than the pre-AP class. Because that never should be. It never should be. So we all are just, we just got to keep it in context. We got to keep it in context. Let me see about that, Trinity. Maybe Maybe so, Trinity. Trinity said, well, we get candy if we win. Okay, maybe I will get you some candy, Trinity, if you feel like that will motivate you.
Children to motivate them to be the right way to do it.
Absolutely right, Jonathan. Yeah, absolutely right, Jonathan.
Don't get candy, it's gonna make them fat.
All right, thank you, Ethan. But you guys, we got
That's
to
on
move on. We have to move on. Jonathan, we
you
got to move
some
on.
milk.
Now we fight our it's not a woman.
Go ahead, Cuddly, go ahead.
And so the next time she said, I will give y'all candy. You know how many people ready some good grades, something.
Really? Well, let's see. Okay, so look, you guys, let's talk about this. Let's look at the questions. We don't have a lot of time because we got to do a couple things. So for us, we still have 1 and 3, but you look, we did number 2 really high, and our 5 came up too, but 4 was still a little low. So I want us to talk about it because I remember I overheard some of us say things out loud when we were doing this test, and I want to just have a second to just address a few things, and then I have a couple of things on transition words and point of view that if we don't finish it today, you guys can look at it at home because I put it on the page, okay? So let's look at this. This is number 1, and I'm not going to read this because of the time and how long it is, but look what I asked you. What statement best explains the effect of using a third-person point of view in this passage? Let me say this. Let's say in every passage. Let's just forget about this. Let's say in every passage. Tell me, what is third-person point of view? What is it? Okay. Okay, so let me.
So like more pointed to the friction, not just like that long.
Okay, so let me ask you this first, you guys. What are some clue words to pick out third-person point of view? Okay, he, them, they. Okay, third person. And what are the ones that we talked about? Third person, what? We had 2. Omniscient, and what's another one? Limited. Tell me what limited it means.
They only know the character.
Only one character. So it's one character. So the narrator has, let me use you, as we did with through Evelyn, it would be only through Evelyn's vision would we be hearing the story. It'd be coming out of her only. Nobody else's thoughts will be known except for hers. What's omniscient? What's omniscient? What's omniscient? Right, of every character. Now, Jonathan was saying something about objective, third person objective. Now, we didn't fully talk about that 100%, but let me ask you a question. What does objective mean? Just by itself, the word objective.
So we have right?
Okay, like we have an objective, correct. You got this is on the board, there's an objective on my agenda, okay. What else?
Oh,
We're coming back. She did. Let's go on. Come on, Kayla. We don't have a lot of time. Go ahead. She just was asking you. Go ahead. So Kenley said is what we're going to accomplish today. What we accomplished is an objective. Okay. Let me say this, Jonathan. What were you going to say?
That's what the board is like. We're focusing on that idea, and that's what we want to accomplish.
Okay.
Like in the story, they want to accomplish something as I don't know about, but they're showing like points that only point to what the objective is.
Okay.
So it's only showing points that are relevant to what's going on.
Okay, points. Okay, I'm gonna try to clean that one up a second. Let me remind you guys this. Remember, you guys, I told you that I used to be an investigator before teaching, right? So I would go around. No. So what I used to do, quiet down. So what I used to do was, quiet down. So what I did, I had a badge. But let me tell you what it was, quiet down. So what it was I would go around the state of Arkansas and I was called out for civil rights infractions. So it's if you no, it's so what happens is you could be anywhere, and if somebody has filed a complaint with the state of Arkansas and said, I feel that this has occurred to me from landlord, banks, anything, then they would call the state, and the state would send out their investigators, and I was one of them. And so I would have to go out there and conduct an investigation on behalf of the state. And I wasn't an attorney. So what that meant was I had to be very clear about what I was doing. And
Right, because you already made
wait. Jonathan, we can't do this because it's, hold up. John, we can't do this because it's slowing us down. We got to make this work. Let's take care of it after class. So listen. Let's stop. So listen, this is and I'm gonna answer this really quickly. So Olivia, you guys, what I did was I had to be objective. You guys, let's pull it together. Olivia, you guys, let's pull it together. Kendall, come on. So what we're talking about here is this. So when I used to do these, I had to be objective. There could never be on behalf of the state that I was doing something that would seem personal or biased, or I believed in the client. So I'm saying, they're right. It had to be proven by facts. And that's objective. There could be no personal emotions to it. It had to be like, I need to see all your files. Now I need to follow this whole thread of the whole situation. Like we had to do it like that. If I had to seize your accounts, I had to do that until I could get to a place that I could make a decision and say, this is what happened, or that's not true. This did not happen the way that the people are saying. They didn't do that. So that's objective. And so where else have we heard objective in our class? Yes, man, the summary, the objective summary. And when we talked about the objective summary, what did we say about that? Why is the objective summary different than just a regular summary? It has facts, nothing personal emotional to it, right? That's it. So third person objective is speaking from that place. If you read a text as third person objective, you can't get into anyone's head. And so when the narrator is speaking, it's like, these two people were sitting at the desk. They were talking. The desk was like this. They could describe everything, maybe even talk about how it feels, but they could never tell you what they were thinking, what they're saying. You just see this. And they leave it to the reader to put it together. That's a third person objective. Does that make sense, everybody? But to this question, it didn't even go that deep. It was just in general, from the third person is more of an objective point of view. But most of us picked subjective. Why do you think we did that?
Because I didn't know what it was.
Okay, don't do that. What were you gonna say, Evelyn? Oh, what does subjective mean? Go ahead.
Where it's more of a personalized kind of.
Yes, it is. It's more of a personalized. So when you have subjective, it's dealing with your emotions and everything it can change because of you personally versus objective. So both of those are opposites of each other.
I chose suggestive. Suggestive is because like the narrator was like using his name stuff and I guess it kind of like let my mind just feel like, oh well. It was like I was kind of getting confused with like what the rules.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me say this out loud. So George was saying that the reason why he chose subjective was like he kind of got confused as he was reading along of the narrator telling the story and giving the details of the character, right? Because he kept saying his name. I think it was Randall or something like that. And it made you kind of think like, what's going on? Who's telling the story? But remember, in third person, you can say somebody else's name. For instance, I don't know if you guys know Sherlock Holmes, okay? Sherlock is, okay, so that's written, right? But the person who's telling the story is who in Sherlock Holmes? Who's telling the story? Who's telling the story? Who's telling the story? Watson.
Who's Watson?
Wait a minute, you guys know Sherlock Holmes, right? It's his right-hand man, it's Watson.
Oh.
So Watson's always with Sherlock Holmes. So listen, so when you see Sherlock Holmes, you always see Watson because they're always together and he's always working with them. And so Sherlock Holmes is told through Watson. You guys see that? Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's great. Even the movie is good, but that is it. It's a great book. Okay, you guys, let's roll. So listen, George, you guys, when you said that, and I appreciate you saying that. When you said that, that means to me that we have to really not be tempted or swayed in questioning, but stick to what we know. That's very important right now because the ones that we're not getting right, it's not that we don't understand the answer, because if we're sitting here talking, you guys are always so clear. Does that make sense? That's not it. So don't let yourself, you know what the point of view is, you know what third person is. No matter what you see, you can't, I'm gonna give you one that really lets you see what I'm talking about. So remember this one on Harry Houdini? It was talking about structure. Okay, so if we look at the structure, let me just say this, and then we're gonna talk about transition. These are the choices. Did you really, Trinity? Okay, these are the choices. Biography, examples, solutions. Nobody chose that, and I'm so grateful to see that. As a structure of the text, this. So a biography is in itself is a genre, right? That wouldn't be here as one of the structures for this. So I'm glad nobody did that. So look, the next one says this: Houdini, career, frauds, mother, death. That's not a structure. The structure begins, it has to be introduction, at least. You're starting with the, so no. That's why we do this, Jonathan. You're right. And we got to really stay clear with what we're talking about. I'm glad you said that. Because when it asks you, that's the only thing it's asking you. Text structure. Nothing else. And so what it tried to do is get you like this. Okay, it's about Houdini and his career and fraud, and his mother died towards the end of this little piece. 42% of us chose that because that was in the text. That's not the structure. That's just some things of what happened. Like a ladder. If you had to draw a little ladder, one of those little graph circle bubbles, this happened and this happened. That's what that is. Now let's look at the last two. Introduction, problem, example, solution, or introduction, examples, problem, solutions. Those are the two. The answer was C, and because if you read this text, it starts off with an introduction, then it gives you the problem, then it provides the examples of the problem, and then it gives you the solution at the last paragraph. So you just, all this is that's why it's not that you didn't understand the structure, even if you didn't know the structure, it's just reading to see that. So if we read and we look at the answers, look at that. And I'm saying it to you guys because we do know this. We know it. So we only have 5 questions, which makes it like you can't get too many wrong on this, right? So you got to think about it. And they do this on purpose. And it's a good exercise for the ACT. So I want us to think about this, okay?
Give us a small amount that we really have to think about what we're putting down, because it's like each question, the smaller it gets, the more thing.
It's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. It's true.
Because like I remember I was taking this test and I was like, there's like 4 or 5 questions on this. I'm like,
He's so mean.
it was like there was like 5 questions and I'm like gonna get kind of freaking out.
Right,
like,
right, because it's so small questions. Right, right. But you know, don't. But listen, let's do this. Hey, come on. We're not doing all that, slowing us down. But listen, let's do this. I want to be clear. What you said is great. And I want us to really think about that as we take this. We can't be impressed by the number that we have or by what's being asked. We just have to go to what we know is the answers, you know, what we know from what we've understand. That's it. Okay? Okay, you guys, this is the last one. And then I want us to go and do a quick exercise. So look at this. The question says, research is continuing on the Norway spruce, which is a tree, its ancient roots, and the rest of the fascinating Swedish forest. Scientists hope these studies will reveal new insights into the climate, geological changes, and perhaps even human activities of ancient times. So it's asking you, which transition word should you put to start sentence 2 and connect them? We know the answer is D. Why do you think most of us picked however? What'd you say? Okay, now look, let me say something. Read this. Evelyn, can you read and put however in there? Just listen to Evelyn. Read and put however in there, Evelyn.
Always through ancient roots and the rest of the fascinating Swedish forest. However, scientists hope these studies will reveal new insights into the climate, geological changes, and perhaps even human activities for ancient times.
Okay, now when she read that, it didn't sound wrong, did it? It kind of flowed through like it was okay. What is another word you can use for however? What's another word you can use instead of however? Hold on, I'm gonna get to it in just a second. Okay, what is another word for however? What'd you say? But. Okay, so instead of saying however, you can say but. And if you put but there, would that sound right, Evelyn? It wouldn't, would it? No, it wouldn't. If it would not, because if you listen to it, it's too strong. And but makes you see that there's a contrast statement. You're either there's something, the reason why you're saying but. That's why. If you said however, it's a little smoother, so it kind of covers that up a little, but it means but. So
feels it's like it's not like it's grammatically wrong, but the whole context just gets mixed up and confused.
And so what you have to know is why do you use however? When and why do you use it? However, or but is for contrast. Okay, I'm sorry. It's for contrast. Yes, sir. Yes. Yeah. And that's why we don't use it. You're absolutely right. But you got to recognize that each one of the times that we use a transition word is for a reason. It's either about time, chronological order, compare and contrast. Okay, there's a reason that we're using. Come on, you guys. There's a reason. And so think about that when we do this. We don't just guess. However, sounded good. And I know that's why we did it, because I like the way you said it, Evelyn, because you actually could, it sounds like you read it in your mind and said, okay, that fits. And when you do that, you can hear it, right? However, it's not correct because however means but. And there is no contrast in these two statements. There isn't. So we have to think about this, you guys. We have to think about it. It's very important. That's what we're doing. Does that make sense, everybody? Yes, ma'am. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay, so let's do this. You guys, are we good? Ethan, Alexia, Brandon, Ricardo, does that make sense? Alyssa?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, you guys, listen, this is what I want us to do. Everybody scroll down in your the Schoology page and pick up transitional words and phrases. Pick up that document. You guys have to open it up with Cami. So we can work in it, okay? So go ahead and do that right now. Scroll down to the very bottom of our Schoology page and pick up transitional words and phrases. I want you to open up a Cami.
See, it's not loading. Yeah, I think we can stop this for
Okay, so everybody, we're gonna be there. Let's see. George, do me a favor. Can you read the first two sentences in this document? Where's the transitional words and phrases? You see it?
Yeah, it's loading. George, never again.
Come on, Jonathan. Enough. Come up here, George, and read it in here. Read it up here. Okay, so read this. I want you to do this one and this one.
Okay.
Quiet down, everybody. Quiet down. Go ahead.
Transition words and phrases connect and relate ideas, sentences, and paragraphs. They assist in the logical flow of ideas as they signal the relationship between sentences and paragraphs.
Okay, that's it. So you guys, that's what we're talking about. Thank you, George. That's what we're talking about with transitional words, okay? So transitional words are used to, as they say, connect, relate ideas, sentences, and paragraphs. And this is an awesome, look at this, you guys. This is an awesome reference. I'm gonna keep this in our Schoology page. You're gonna need some great reference, transition words when you write your narrative too. So look at this. When you use a transition word, it asks you on the side here, consider what it signals. Consider what it's signaling. So for instance, if the signal is addition of ideas, then you can say also, besides, further, furthermore, moreover. Do we see that? If it's signaling order or sequence, You'd say first, second, finally, hence, next, then. How about if it's signaling purpose? To this end, for this purpose. Does that make sense, everybody? So this is a wonderful way to consider transition words. What are they signaling? Is it signaling a cause and effect? Then you would use a specific type of transition word, correct? Is it signifying an example? Then you have words like for instance, okay? Does that make sense, everybody? Okay, so I want everybody go to the next exercise 1, and I want you to do 3, 4, and 5. I'll give you like a minute. Refresh your screen, no load. 3, 4, and 5. No, but I might have a pencil. On the back. Yeah. 3, 4, and 5, you guys. Come on, let's go. I'm gonna just give you a few seconds. Yeah. Exercise 1, 3, 4, and 5. Jonathan, come on. Come on, come on, come on. It's all right. It's okay, Olivia. It's okay. Just look at my screen, and just look at the screen, and I'll let you answer out loud. There's one right next to you, George. George, there's one right next to you. Listen. No, it's okay. We don't have time now. We gotta keep moving. So you guys I need us to focus because we have to do much better. Kenley, Olivia, you guys, we'll do much better than we did on this one on Friday. Because you guys, I'm keeping the highest grade in the grade book. So you must get higher than what you did on Friday, for sure.
Will it?
Yeah.
Will it be the same questions?
You don't have to be scared. No, you don't have to because, listen, because we just started talking about this and you know that it's just how you're thinking. Yes, all you, yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Markela. They'll be in the same context, same standards, yes, but they may not be the same questions. Okay, let's do 3, 4, and 5. You guys, let's do 3 and 4 and 5. So let's popcorn this out. Larry will probably be a late bloomer socially, just like his older brothers. Is that time, contrast, comparison, or cause and effect? Comparison. 4, there are ways you can make boring tasks more pleasant. For instance, bring a portable radio and listen to music on the earphones while you work. What is that? Illustration and example. The lazy checkout clerk forced the 6-pack of cola into the bottom of the bag, tearing it. Then she shrugged her shoulders and said, I guess you'll have to carry the bag from the bottom. It is kind of not nice. Time, contrast, comparison, illustration, example. What is it? And why is it time? Okay, now look, we're swimming through this so smoothly. So let's please be mindful when we take this. What'd you say? What do you mean? Oh, okay. I'm gonna go 1 and we're gonna go number 2 really quick. A water main downtown broke this morning, so several businesses had no water for hours. What is that? It is D, cause and effect. Hey, number 1, isn't that what you asked? D, it's cause and effect. No, it's okay, but you gotta know why. That's all. It's okay. Let's go to number 2. Let's go to section 2. Quickly, section 2. This is page 4. So let's do number 2. If you're having company for dinner, try to get as much done in advance as possible. Blank, set the table for the day before. What would you say? A, B, C, or D? Exercise 2, scroll down to page 4. We're doing number 2. What is it? Number 2. Number 2, if you're having company for dinner. A, it's A. Do you see that, everybody? If you're having company for dinner, try to get as much done in advance as possible. For instance, set the table the day before. So we're providing what, an illustration or example of what to do. Does that make sense? Let's go to number 4. My grandfather loves to say, you're as nervous, blank, a long-tailed cat in a room of rocking chairs. Okay. So now look, you guys, what I want you to do is, if you look on the page, there's a really cool video here on transition words. Take a look. Oh, it's actually very good. Take a look at that at home, and then look at this one on point of view. The one that has the 5 basic kinds of point of view is awesome. Review that before tomorrow when we take that test, okay? We all good? Do the exit ticket, please. Do the exit ticket, and then you may go.